Previously, Yotsuya with Kahabel's help defeats the bandits and Berserker. And as to aid the heroes, Kahabel decides to take them to Raid Orbo. After reaching a certain distance, everyone decides to rest for the night. Yotsuya uses his chef's skills to cook dinner. Everyone is loving how delicious it is. After the dinner, Kahabel decides to train their sword skills as it is necessary for close combat. One by one, they practice it. The next Kusu, a knight comes running and notifies Kahabel about the sighting of a goblin's horde. She decides to finish them with the help of her knights. However, Yotsuya stops her. He insists to let him and his party take care of this matter, since they are already lacking in experience points. After a few minutes, they finish the goblins. However, Yotsuya is worried to see his stats are not improving as much as the rest of his party members. This means that he has to find stronger monsters than goblins. As they continue their journey, inside the cart, Yotsuya opens the map and notices that only 15 days left for his party to finish the quest. The time limit is very tight, but if they continue with their current speed, they will arrive on time. Shindo notices something from afar. Kahabel uses her binoculars and witnesses 3 soldiers with some civilians fighting some monsters. They seem to be losing with one of the civilians being injured. She asks Yotsuya what they should do. Yotsuya bluntly tells that he doesn't care about their lives and wants to use their available time wisely. But Hakozaki is against it. She wants to help them even if she has to go by herself. Yotsuya thinks for a moment and realizes that this might be some game event. By setting this up, the game master wants to judge their current capabilities. So, with Hakozaki he decides to help them. And tells the rest to continue going further, as he will later catch up with them. Taking one of the horse, both of them heads toward the soldiers. The monsters sense their presence and immediately turn toward them. Yotsuya uses his scanner and got to know that the monster is known as Kobold. With the stats it possesses, it can easily defeat both of them. One of the Kobold charges at Yotsuya. And just as expected he is not strong enough to defeat it while being outnumbered. He uses his creature's speech skill but is in shock to see it didn't work. The Kobold bites his hand, but he drives his fingers into Kobold's eye and made him fall. While sitting on top of him, he tries to stab, however, another Kobold came from behind and kills him. Dead Hakozaki revives but soon one of the Kobolds charges at her. After enough of being a useless party member, she is determined to contribute her share. She calmly scans her weapons and waits for the Kobold to come near her. And just in time, she takes out the long sword and stabs it. And soon, after observing how much hard time they both were facing, Kahabel arrives and finishes off the remaining monsters. Immediately, Yotsuya starts healing the injured kid and asks the soldiers who are they. Camel Toe, one of the soldiers, reveals that they are from the kingdom of Diak. As a soldier, they are abiding by their king's order to transport these prisoners to Raid Orbo. The prisoners' crime is to follow an unknown religion called Artiros. And because of this, they are going to execute them in Raid Orbo, where everyone follows this religion. Diak's king wants to send a clear message using them. Yotsuya starts to wonder whether these prisoners are the goods the game master was referring to. He is confused about whether he should save the prisoners after delivering or just let the soldiers execute them. But if he is wrong and because of his actions the prisoners died, he fears that like before, his party will get a penalty. Kahabel finds it weird for the Diak kingdom to execute its own people in a different country. Camel Toe gets a bit frustrated and demands her name along with her authority. After knowing Kahabel is from Cortinal, he finds it amusing. Because it is a very small nation, with pride, he introduces himself as the vice corporal of Diak kingdom. Because he is from a stronger nation, he orders Kahabel to mind her manners. Kahabel didn't like the tone and is pissed. She reminds him how he was about to get killed by low-level monsters if she hadn't come. Camel Toe gets furious and both of them raise their weapons. Shindo comes in between and stops them. After it, Yotsuya explains about this as their quest. And asks their opinion on what they should do. Yuka comes up with a plan that they should accompany the soldiers to Rotorbo and after it, they can set the prisoners free. Yotsuya likes the idea as he was also thinking the same. After talking with Camel Toe, they get on the wagon and go toward Raid Orbo. One of the soldiers asks Camel Toe about the reason he let the heroes come with them. Camel Toe explains that he cannot let anyone die before completing the mission as it would be termed as failure. And since Yotsuya is the only person capable of healing, he had to let them accompany them. In the cart, Yotsuya asks the reason. Diak's king hates their religion. The prisoner reveals that the king wants everyone to only pray to him and finds it disturbing if anyone prays to a god. After listening to him, Yotsuya then listens from Camel Toe's perspective. Camel Toe reveals that their king only wants peace and it can only be achieved by eliminating people who follow these evil religions. Yuka is furious to hear the reason. She relates the nature of the king with her bullies and suggests killing the king. Camel Toe doesn't like anyone talking bad about their king and raises his axe. But after persuasion from Yotsuya, he calms down. The next day, they continue their journey. A point comes where there are two routes. Camel Toe is familiar with the routes and suggests the shorter one. Everyone agrees and follows him. After some time, they arrive inside a cave, where a mechanism has to be started in order to open the gates. While Camel Toe starts it, he advises Yotsuya and his party to wait in the cave. Soon the huge power plant starts to operate. However, the gate suddenly closes and they all are trapped inside it. Camel Toe sneaks from a little hole and explains that he cannot travel with people who have hatred toward his king. He wishes them the best for what's about to come and leaves. Yotsuya panics as the goods he was supposed to deliver have gone far from him. A new path starts to form and with no other choice, they get on it. Inside it, huge pendulum-like traps are on their path. Yotsuya notices certain symbols above their floor and immediately goes upstairs. As he changes the direction of the symbol, the pendulum starts to swing slower and slower. With this, they easily proceed further. Yotsuya is careless and continues to go ahead. However, he triggers a trap and dies by falling. Soon he revives, but is in no position to climb back. He knows it is foolish for them to wait for him, so he tells them to go ahead and complete the quest without him. Shindo understands his logic and agrees. But she doesn't know how to overcome this obstacle. As time passes, Hakozaki notices there is a certain pattern on when the walls come out. After recording the timings, they are ready to go. However, just in case they are wrong about it, Shingo volunteers to go first. She successfully makes it to the other side. And soon the rest also follows her. With Yotsuya not being here, they find their chances low but continue to go further. Shindo and others open a door and find themselves in a very weird place. It almost looks like a battle arena. On looking around, they notice a monster hanging by the wall. Kahabel is panicking. She recognizes it as Gargoyle, a man-made monster that is currently petrified. However, after Camel Toe started the hydro plant, the body fluids that were earlier removed are now being filled back inside it. And soon after, the Gargoyle revives. While the rest are facing Gargoyle, Yotsuya finds a way to climb up. The wall is weak and by creating holes with his blade, he can climb up. Without any delay, he starts climbing. However, he keeps on falling. He doesn't give up and continues climbing. But soon the fire is extinguished and he is not able to see the holes. He decides to keep his eyes close, and just focus on his other senses. But still, he keeps on falling and dying. At this point, Yotsuya is exhausted and he starts thinking about his past where he had just transferred from his hometown and was having a hard time making friends. He always ends up alone and wasn't even picked for group activities. Ever since then, he starts to accept solitude. In the present, Yotsuya again tries and this time he finally reaches the top. After it, he slowly goes toward the exit. On the way, he finds a log point and touches it. Inside it, he sees that everyone is emotional over Byamsberg's death caused by a trap. Kahabel is emotional as well as furious. She swears to revenge his death. Back in the present, Yotsuya soon finds his body and gets emotional. He starts to remember the time they spent until now. He shows his respect and continues going ahead. On the other side, alongside Gargoyle, there are small bats that are also attacking. Because they are not much of a threat, Kahabel is fighting Gargoyle and the rest taking care of the bats. Shindo is confident to see Kahabel because she is the only one who can fight such a strong monster. However, soon Gargoyle pierced his hand like a weapon through her and she falls into the water below. Everyone is in shock to witness their last hope gone. Gargoyle turns toward Shindo and approaches to kill her. Shindo is in a panic because she understands the difference in their power. As Gargoyle is about to attack her, she steps on an injured bat, and everything stops. Her level increases to 10, and the Game Master appears. He spins the wheel and this time, Shindo becomes a warrior. As soon as the time continues, with all her strength she drives the sword. But is unable to breach the armor. And she is thrown away. She regains her balance and wears her hat and a shield. She notices a wound dealt by Kahabel. And remember the instruction she gave her while training. She charges at him, but Gargoyle manages to rip her hand. But this doesn't stop Shindo, as she gets on top of him. And uses her detached arm to pierce through an unarmed body part. With this, Gargoyle dies and soon Yotsuya also arrives. Kusu tells him about Kahabel and without any hesitation, Yotsuya jumps to save her. Both Shindo and Yuka are in shock. Because earlier, it was Yotsuya who said that their individual life doesn't matter, but now, he is the one who is risking his life for a girl. Yotsuya finds Kahabel and after taking her out, uses his healing power to seal the wound. But as his MP starts to diminish, he uses Gargoyle's body fluid to recharge it and continues healing her. After a few hours, Kahabel wakes up. Kusu tells how Yotsuya saved her. She finds him sleeping next to her and is amazed to witness such a creative sleeping style. But in reality, Yotsuya passed out after using too much of his MP. After Kusu leaves, Kahabel covers Yotsuya's eyes and gives a kiss on his lips. Everyone is surprised to witness the scene. But Kahabel tells them to keep this a secret. At night, Yotsuya wakes up and immediately tells them that he was wrong about the goods. He uses the third quest as the reference and explains that they were not told which village's chief request they had to complete. This means that this time also they can deliver any good as long as it can be sold. After delivering it to Raid Odorbo and they will complete the quest. Hakozaki starts to worry because this means they will abandon the prisoners. Yotsuya decides to split up. Because just in case he is wrong about his theory they can still avoid abandoning the prisoners and complete the quest. Yotsuya, Kahabel, and Yuka go after the Diak Knights. While the rest searching for the goods to deliver. Kahabel reveals that the day before they were trapped, she saw Cameltoe use a bird to send a message. She suspects that in the message, Cameltoe has mentioned her and Cortinal's soldiers. If Cameltoe and his soldiers were to be killed, then Diak's king will immediately suspect her and Cortinal behind it. And without any hesitation, will wage a war. With Cortinal being 10 times weaker, she fears her country will be destroyed. After deep thinking, Yotsuya comes up with a very nasty plan. Both Kahabel and Yuka are terrified to witness his face. By the next day, they caught up to Cameltoe. And starts following him for a certain distance. At night, Yotsuya begins his plan. He approaches them. Cameltoe and the soldiers are in shock and get into an offensive stance. Yotsuya calms them down and reminds them that there is no point in fighting. Since he can't be killed. He reveals that all the knights with him are dead and except Yuka, the other 2 heroes fell in a hole. After he tells them that he has converted to Artyros and is here to negotiate for his fellow believers. He threatens them to free the prisoners or else he will use his immortality and spread his religion all over the world. Since he is a hero everyone will willingly convert and abandon to pray for Diak's king. Before leaving, Yotsuya gives them to make their decision by tomorrow. Cameltoe and his soldiers are in a panic. They fear that if Yotsuya is successful, then their king's vision to have Artyros' free world will be doomed. A soldier comes up with a plan to trap both heroes since they can't be killed. Just then, Yuka comes. The soldiers are shocked but calm down after she reveals her will to help them in their plan. Cameltoe is suspicious and asks the reason for it. Yuka tells that since becoming a hero she never had a good relationship with Yotsuya. And now since everyone is gone, she doesn't want to get stuck up with him. Cameltoe believes her. Because when he was with them, he notices that both of them never seem fond of each other. Yuka then tells them to trap Yotsuya while he is sleeping. And to help, she will guide them to their camp. Cameltoe doesn't completely trust her and lets one of the soldiers keep watch on the prisoners. After it, he takes a rope and with the remaining soldier follows Yuka to her camp. After traveling for a few minutes, Cameltoe starts to lose his patience and demands how far it is. But Yuka keeps on telling that it's just a little further. Cameltoe loses his patience and kills her. He then sent the soldier to check. But is disappointed to know that even after hundreds of meters there is nothing. They tie Yuka with rope and tell her that she will pay for fooling them. When they reach their wagon, Cameltoe is in shock to witness the prisoner's death. He cannot believe a hero did it. In front of them, Yotsuya then put the soldier on fire that was guarding the prisoners. After it, he burns one of Cameltoe's horses. Yotsuya reveals that he lied when he tells them he has converted to Artyros. Yuka uses her magic to burn the rope. And with Yotsuya escapes in the remaining horse. Yotsuya's plan is a success because now Cameltoe cannot tell his king that Courtenay's knights were involved in this, and as a result, no war will happen. They arrive at the cave where the prisoners are kept safe. Yotsuya used their clothes to give the illusion to make the fake body appear real. Outside the cave, Yuka asks if he not lose his experience points for killing the soldier. Yotsuya reveals that he has already lost it. But it was an important part of his plan, so he had to do it. On the other side, Cameltoe is depressed to see the mission assigned by the king has failed. With no way to continue, he sends the message through a pigeon. Soon after it's leaving, Kahabel sneaks from behind and kills the soldier. Cameltoe is in shock to witness her alive. Understanding Yotsuya lied about everything, he gets furious and picks his axe to attack her. However, Kahabel brutally slices off his limbs and then deals the final blow. With this, she avenges Byamsberg's death. Consider liking and subscribing this channel if you enjoyed the recap. Have a wonderful day ahead.